Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now only 174 days away from its release by director J.J. Abrams, and it was all set and ready to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that not only are we getting a return of Darth Sidious himself, portrayed by Ian McDiarmid, but we're also getting a lot of new elements to the sequel trilogy story that will be explained, including the origins of the First Order, as well as other aspects of the Star Wars franchise that will be utilized in this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's described that a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren walking into an abandoned Imperial base, where it's said to have hold many weapons, ships, and armor that were never used during the Galactic Civil War. It's said that Kylo is visiting this base for clues about the past in the Hidden Empire archives, where it's described that eventually Kylo comes across what is said to be one of Palpatine's vaults that is stored inside the base holding many secrets of the past. It's said that eventually Kylo comes across a miniature hologram of Darth Sidious that Kylo eventually activates, where Ian McDiarmid played the part for the hologram where Palpatine reveals that he has put together a small army to discover a dark entity that Sidious sensed in the unknown regions that ended up being Supreme Leader Snoke himself. It's said that Palpatine for a very long time focused on discovering the dark side energy that was growing immensely, where Palpatine sent out ships to the unknown regions in an attempt to reason and meet with this dark presence. This is also said to play a role in the storytelling and the origins of the First Order. The scenery is described to be very dark, with a bunch of Palpatine's belongings seen in the background as the Knights of Ren stand behind Kylo Ren. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because this is something very interesting for sure. Now, we do know that the origins of the First Order are going to be explained in Episode 9 in great depth by JJ and Chris Terrio, and even George Lucas, since he had a hand in all of this as well. Now, what's really interesting to me, though, is of course the storytelling of Palpatine's interest in Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, there's a lot of hints and/or indicators out there that we have actually gone over that eventually Palpatine takes over Snoke's body, and that's exactly who Snoke really is during the events of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So, before the events of the sequel trilogy, we do know that Palpatine had a great interest in Snoke himself as a character. Now, the fact that Palpatine put together a small army to go out into the unknown regions and discover this entity really does strike an interest now, because we do know that Episode 9 is really going to use a lot of material from the books and the novels out there, such as Aftermath and Empire's End, so on and so forth. So the fact that JJ really is using a lot of that as inspirational material, and also as a way in order to really make this movie feel like it's going to be very unique and relying on many different versions of the canon material that falls under the Disney Star Wars universe, is very exciting. Now, this is all said to be told through Palpatine's old hologram. It's said to have been recorded well before the events of Return of the Jedi. And we also know that Palpatine had a great interest in Jakku, not just that dark energy that he felt. So the fact that Palpatine put together a small army and sent them out all the way over into the unknown regions really does interest me a lot, because we do know that if you look at Supreme Leader Snoke and the First Order, a lot of people want to learn more about that side of Star Wars. Now, sure, Star Wars Resistance, it really does kind of explain a little bit about the First Order origins and exactly what happened, but not entirely, right? So now going into Episode 9, the fact that we are going to learn more about that, and learning more about that dynamic between both Snoke and Palpatine really does interest me, and it also opens up the possibility of them really expanding off of Episode 9 in the forms of books and novels and comics that can really expand this little snippet in Star Wars Episode 9 that is told through the hologram of Darth Sidious indirectly to Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren. Now, I'm starting to wonder exactly where this abandoned Imperial base really is. It's said to be a place over in the Outer Rim, but we're not quite sure exactly what star system and or what planet specifically it resides on. So that's another thing that really, a lot of fans are asking, and a lot of fans are really wondering exactly where this place really is. So, Snoke and Palpatine, we do know that that's going to be an element in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. We do know that Ian McDiarmid had a lot of scenes in this movie. You know, he's no cameo, he's no small presence in the film, so that's a great relief, knowing that he really is going to have a big role in this movie, between visions and dream sequences and holograms, and even the actual being himself in the form of a spirit taking over the Dark Acolyte's body. Should be very interesting to see exactly how that's going to be used on the big screen. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.